All right. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Absolute honor to have you here today. Okay, so if you found this video, you are on the verge of one of your biggest financial breakthroughs. That's the intention that I'm putting into this video. And I know that if you found it, if it somehow came across your feed, this is meant for you. So first thing that I want to say, congratulations on getting to this point, because when it comes to having real financial freedom and real financial abundance, which means your cup is so full that it can spill over, it takes a lot of inner work to do this in a genuine, authentic way. There's many ways to get rich quick. There's many ways to make fast cash that have an unstable foundation that end up biting you in the ass later down the road. You are someone who's doing it the right way. You're someone who's been very patient with your process, taking it one step at a time, and you've learned how to essentially master and understand the energetic frequency of money and financial freedom. And you're on the breakthrough point now. So you may not necessarily have it just yet, but your understanding and the path that you have forward in regards to what your intuition knows and your instincts know, it is the path of true financial abundance. And you know it. So I want to congratulate you. This is something that is guaranteed going to be coming into your life when the time is right, and you're the type of person that can receive it. So on this theme then of being at the verge of a financial breakthrough here, I'm going to be sharing some of the key principles, components, and education that you need to understand when it comes to real financial freedom and how you're going to better create this in your life experience. So if this is something that you're interested in, if this is something you're currently resonating with, this is your video. So let's jump in. Okay, so first thing first, one of the biggest awareness shifts that you may currently be experiencing now is that money is literally energy. And at the deepest root of money coming into your life, it is spiritual. So what this means is you're starting to become a lot more clear that money isn't necessarily the physical object, whether that comes through the form of coins, through dollars, through cryptos, whatever it is, digital, whatever, right? You're starting to realize it's not just the thing, it's not just the object, it's not just the number, so to speak, but it's literally almost like an archetypal representation of time. So I want you to really think about this. Money is time. Why? Because in our today's current society, we trade time for money. We trade time and energy for money. So when you have more money, what does that then equate to? Your time and energy coming back to you in abundance. The more money that you have, the more financial abundance you have, the more time and energy you have to decide what you truly want to do with your life and what you want to do in the present moment. That could be something like, I wake up and I decide I want to do nothing but just rest and honor my inner child and feel through my feelings and take care of myself by eating healthy foods and living in a safe environment. That could look like that. Or it could look like, I want to go out and I want to explore, I want to adventure, I want to do fun things, I want to meet up with my friends and have good times. I want to go out to really nice restaurants and explore different types of foods and things like that. Okay? It doesn't really matter, because when you have money, you have time and energy that is given back to you that then you get to decide what you're going to do with it. So this big awareness shift that you've recently started to cultivate that says, okay, I'm starting to realize that I don't necessarily need to do A and B to then get C. I don't necessarily need to slave myself at a corporate job, working a 9 to 5, in order to, hopefully get to a point where I can make enough money to retire, and then I'll finally have my freedom. I'm starting to realize that that's not how money actually works. It's not even necessarily trading physical action all the time to then get the physical result of whatever you're thinking, you're getting from whatever money or compensation that you would be receiving. But you're starting to really tap into the true understanding that money is, this is honestly the best way for me to describe it. It is a collective archetypal consciousness. Money is literally an entity. It's the best way for me to put it. It is an actual collective archetype that is its own consciousness that is co-created and agreed upon by the human collective consciousness, mostly our unconscious. We decided to create this monetary system that uses the different forms of money that we use, that we give meaning to. We're the ones that created this currency and once again created meaning to it. Okay, sorry, I just noticed all the power just went out in my home, so that's really interesting. Okay, so we're just going to keep letting it roll. But as I was saying, there is this there's this co-created experience where we've created money into a literal conscious entity. So money has actually become something very real, and it's become conscious in its own right. It doesn't necessarily have a soul and a spirit the same way that we would as human beings, but it is a conscious entity. So there are a couple key factors then that really need to come into play when it comes to how do we tap into the true organic frequency of what money represents so that money can actually come into our life more so effortlessly. Rather than me having a relationship with money where I'm trying to chase it and I'm attached to it and I'm trying to force it or control it to do what I want it to do, what if I could have a healthier relationship to money, to the consciousness of money, so that money actually sees me and says, I want to be in that person's life. So therefore money flows to me because my relationship to it is very different. And in many ways, I'm a safe space for money to come in. It's the same way when it comes to relationships. Imagine being in a relationship with someone who's trying to control you, who's always chasing after you, who's overly attached to you. It's an energy that's like, I don't really know if I like that. I don't really want to be around that. This is too overstimulating, or it's too overwhelming. It just doesn't feel mature and it doesn't feel safe. So remember, if money is an actual consciousness, money actually can experience a relationship between the consciousness of a human being. So this is where you're at in your process. You may not have understood it the exact way that I just described it, but you're starting to realize money is way deeper. It's more spiritual and it's more energetic than what you ever thought and what you were led to believe in modern time. Because remember, in modern time, it was always you have to do this physical action A and B, and then that's the only way that C can come to you. You have to take this step. You have to work the 9 to 5. You have to put in your hours. You have to, work really hard and put in a lot of energy, taking some sort of physical action over and over and over again. And then with the hopes that you can make enough money to, save it up and then one day be able to retire. Right? And that approach, to me, seems like a slave approach, especially considering the fact that if we have a true understanding of how money works and we understand the energetics behind it, if there is availability to have money literally come to me effortlessly, which means I'm putting in minimal effort, minimal action to get to a point where money wants to just come to me. It finds opportunities, it finds synchronistic moments to literally find me, whether that comes through relationships, whether that comes through random opportunities, whatever it is. If that's a reality and that can happen, then that's what I want to tap into. I don't want to live life as a slave. And I don't want to be attached to the education that that's the only way that I can make money is by slaving myself to another corporation of human beings that are more conscious of how money actually works. Okay? So you're at that point where you see this now, and I'm trying to help you better understand it by deepening your perspective. Okay? So now that we understand money is consciousness and it's its own entity, and that when you start to build a healthier relationship to it, it will actually want to come to you. What determines whether money wants to come to you or not? That's the next thing we want to look at. Okay. Well, the first thing that we need to know is that money wants to come to you when you have a foundation of not necessarily needing it. Give me 1 second. My cat needs to come in. Come on. Yes. Okay. So as I was saying, money wants to come to you when your foundation is you don't need it. Now, this can be very counterintuitive because I know that you have bills. I know that you have a rent to pay. I know that you have a mortgage. I know you need to put food on your plate for yourself and maybe for your family. But what a lot of people don't understand is that when you're being present and when you're honoring what's really going on in your system, you're feeling through your emotions, you're connecting to your sensations, and you're following your intuition and your instincts to your best ability. This is a state of self-love. And when you're in a state of self-love, there is a degree of regulation, which essentially means harmony, that is happening inside of your nervous system. What's going on in your nervous system is broadcasting a frequency. It's broadcasting an energetic resonance. So when you're being present and when you're honoring yourself, which means you don't need to have an underneath survival stress. You don't need to have an underneath urgency that I need to pay my bills. I need to do this. You might need to, but you don't have the underneath, how is this going to happen? I need to force this. I need to make this work. Things will naturally and organically work out for you the exact way you need them to. Most people never get the opportunity to allow nature, and in many ways of looking at it, never allow their own higher power to show them that it can actually take care of them, even when they let go of the survival stress and the urgency to make the thing happen. So I'm trying to give you a pretty clear example here. Remember, there's a difference between someone who obviously needs to pay their rent, put food on the plate, and then comes from a foundation of, I need to make this happen. It has to happen. And then there's an essence of urgency and survival stress. That's one example. Whereas the other example is a person who still needs to pay their rent. They still need to put food on their plate, but they are aware that as they're being present and they're connecting with the uncomfortable feelings and the fear and the anxieties of, I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm going to trust that it will. And I'm going to be present with what's going on in my body. And I'm going to follow my intuition. I'm going to follow my instincts to take the little steps that I need to take. And I trust that I will have my rent. I trust that I will have enough money to pay for the food to basically provide for my needs. What I'm telling you is that when we're present in this type of way, with this example, we have a level of regulation happening in the nervous system that will harmonize, giving us enough of what we need to survive. And that absolutely entails money as well. So my point here, between these two examples that I just created, the one where there's survival stress and urgency, and then the other one where the person is feeling through the uncomfort, but they're also trusting their presence and they're trusting the process. One person is not attached to money and is not needing money. The money is important, but they don't need it because they know that they're going to be taken care of by the pure awareness of their own presence and the power of their presence, the power of that nervous system regulation that happens when you're being authentic to who you really are. So that is what I mean by not needing the money from that lens of urgency and survival stress. Whereas this person on this side, they are subconsciously needing the money and they're attaching to the money. So money comes to people that don't need money. Okay? This is a key component to know. So when we talk about the themes of surrender, letting go, trusting the process, having faith, this all comes down to that first foundational principle of real financial abundance. You do not need the money. The money will come to you based on your presence, based on your nervous system's regulation, and your ability to be authentic to what's emotionally coming up for you, which oftentimes can be very uncomfortable when you do have bills to pay, when you do have rent to pay, when you do have a mortgage, when you do have to feed a family. But you know that your higher power, or you know that your nervous system's regulation will find a way to provide you with what you need when you need it at the time that is right for you. It takes a high level of trust and a high level of faith for that to occur. But that's the foundation of people that energetically attune to money in a way where money comes to them. The more you're attached to it, the more you're survival stressing towards it and urgency towards it, the less money wants to come to you. That's the first principle. The second principle is this. This is the separation point between abundance. And so there's a difference between getting to a point where money wants to come to you and where it will come to you in a way where it's like money will trust you and it will flow to you to the degree that you need it. And it will take care of you in the way that you need. Now, the second principle that I'm going to share with you is what determines if you're going to have abundance with money compared to just having enough to make sure you're taking care of your needs. Okay? This is where we're talking about the realm of being very comfortable with excess amounts of money because you've done the inner work to basically show yourself to money and say, you're safe and you're free to come to me whenever you want. So what is that principle? It's worthiness. And this is one of the deepest core wounds that so many of us as human beings in our modern time today struggle with. The feeling of worthiness. And when I say this, there's no way to fool this. There's no way to pretend that you're worthy. So there's a lot of people that also will create separate personalities or identities. They will essentially fragment their psyche from trauma. And they'll create these identities that are trying to be worthy, but in a protective way. So like, for example, I'm going to be more charismatic. I'm going to present myself to the world as if I've got everything figured out and everything's all good and I don't have any problems. I'm going to make it look like I have tons of friends and that I've got a really good relationship. Whereas on the inside, I actually feel broken and I feel unworthy, but my image is as if I am worthy and as if that's the life that I'm living. So, that's not real worthiness. That's not authentic worthiness. And as I said, there's people that can make money by trying to fool money. Like, that's actually what's happening. It's people can put on an identity or a persona and try to fool the consciousness of money to come to them. This is where people can oftentimes make a lot of money in one quick burst. But just like anything, just like any relationship, whenever you fool somebody or you lie to somebody, there is resentment that happens. And money can, I don't necessarily want to say it can resent you, but it will mimic a pattern of resentment if you make it in an inauthentic way by pretending that you're worthy through a protective identity that you have been attached to. And there's many people that create these protective identities unconsciously too. So making money is actually just a coping mechanism to further not have to feel deeper core wounds like unworthiness. So money can come to these types of people and it can actually come in pretty large amounts, but because the foundation was not authentic, something always will happen that will cause a person to lose that money in a significant way later down the road, or something very important to the person will essentially be not able to express while they're making the money, therefore making them a slave to the money again. Because whenever money becomes a coping mechanism to not have to feel deeper things in the body, then you easily fall into essentially being a slave for the money because you need it as your drug to cover up your wounds. And that only amplifies and amplifies as you get older, the more you repress it. So then you find yourself in a position where you're not actually free. You might have the money. It might look like you have the freedom, but you're not actually free because you constantly are needing to make more money to feel worthy. And that's not what real financial abundance is. And that tied back to the same thing that I just described with how people can sometimes try to fool themselves into an identity that pretends it's worthy when in truth, at the core of them, they don't feel worthy. So what I'm trying to help you understand is that when you really connect to who you are and you're present and you're doing the deeper work of healing your trauma and experiencing what it means to truly feel worthy, which means I feel that I deserve, just because of who I am and what I am, I deserve freedom. I deserve love. I deserve connection. I deserve to live a life where I get to wake up and I get to choose what I want to do. I get to explore what I want to explore. I get to have fun. I get to adventure. That is worthiness. So what is it that causes us to not feel worthy? Most of the times it's in our early childhood where we internalize oftentimes from our parents, different things that makes us feel like I'm broken. It's my fault. I did something wrong. I'm guilty. I'm responsible for all the trouble here. I'm responsible for making this mistake, and I'm a bad person because I made it. So we internalize a lot of trauma when we're younger, and that trauma builds layers of shame, which makes us feel unworthy. And then that's usually the fragmentation point where we start to create identities that are there to protect us and to cope from those deeper feelings of the unworthiness and the fear and the sadness and the anger. Okay? So when we're doing the real work, which essentially just means practicing being authentic, that's literally as simple as it is. It's not more complex than that. We're all returning back home to authenticity inside of our systems. When you're practicing being who you are, you're going to most likely face these deeper feelings of shame and unworthiness and layers of fear and sadness, grief, feelings of abandonment, feelings of betrayal, and whatever other emotions that might connect with all of this. So as you're being present, you're going to have room to actually feel these things. And when you're feeling them, you're allowing them to integrate in the system, which eventually allows them to release when they need to release. But there's no time limit on it. There's no forcing it. There's no controlling it. The same way that you would be present with a child that is really struggling with something or really hurt or having a temper tantrum, you have to just show them that you're present with them and that you're not going to abandon them in their pain. So you have to do the same thing with your own inner child. And over time, as you practice being who you really are, you're going to discover more and more ways to love yourself. So you're going to start becoming much more conscious of unhealthy coping mechanisms, and you're going to naturally want to start changing those. You're going to start becoming more conscious of relationships that honor you and relationships that don't honor you, and you're going to have boundaries with them. And then those relationships that don't really resonate, they're going to fade away. And you're going to start inviting in new energy with new people that actually see you, hear you, and can validate you. Okay? All of these different things, and this, there's a whole host of different things that can start to shift and change as you're loving yourself and as you're being more present. This is all culminating in a deeper sense of worthiness. Your frequency, if we're going to look at it from the nervous system perspective, is going to resonate higher and higher and higher, slowly but surely, because you're doing the combination of processing the negative trauma and energy that's been stuck in the system, and then you're taking actions simultaneously that are slowly showing you that you are worthy and you are loving yourself more and more and more. And that builds a very powerful resonance that says, I am worthy of freedom. I am worthy of doing what I want, when I want to do it, living my life in a way where I don't have to sacrifice time and energy for money. I don't have to change my personality for money. I don't have to do things that I truly don't want to do and that my heart doesn't want to do. I can live life in the way that feels right for me and feels healing, and probably also help other people in the process. It is this level of inner worthiness that also connects to freedom. That's inner freedom, being who you really are, and loving yourself is freedom, which is what sends the frequency broadcast to the consciousness of money itself that says, I am exactly the home that you want to stay in. So money, when we're looking at the spirit realm, money, because it's a consciousness, it can see people. And there are certain people that have a light to them that money wants to be in. Money wants to be in the light or in the consciousness or in the frequency of humans, nervous systems, and our spiritual field, of people that have that inner freedom and that worthiness with the foundation of not needing it, which makes them a safe space for money to come to. So this is what attributes to real financial abundance. When you feel worthy enough to have it. And as I'm telling you, it is a slow, integrative process of developing worthiness in your system. It's not a quick fix. You're not going to do it overnight. You can try to fake it. You can try to fool your own system only to watch it bite you in the ass in the long run. But if you really do honor it, which I know you as the listener is doing, you're on this path, I can tell, within time, your nervous system will be at such a resonance where money will literally be looking for you. And you can get to a point where it's like you're living your life and opportunity after opportunity after synchronicity, things that you could never logically control or rationalize are starting to come to you to literally put money in your pocket. I mean, we're talking about from all different areas of life in weird ways. And what you also have to understand is there's a lot of money out there in general. There's a lot of money in the world. All it takes is one person that has a lot of money to potentially want you to help them with something, and then they pay you a huge amount of money that literally sets you up to then use that money to reinvest it and then set yourself up for complete freedom. That's how easy it can be to become financially free. Now, of course, that's just one example. There's millions of other examples of how you can make a lot of money. But when we're talking about becoming the embodiment of what money wants to be around, we're looking at weird ways that money can find you and weird ways that money can come to you. And that's what it feels like when you're in alignment in the way that I'm talking about now. Money is just looking for you. It's just finding you. It's like you have this essence of good luck always surrounding you, no matter what you're doing, because you're healing your trauma, you're being authentic to who you are, and you feel worthy, which creates inner freedom. These are all the key factors of how you resonate with money. And then your core foundation is you don't need it. The money is not what's making you love yourself. The money, even though it represents freedom, even if you don't have freedom and you're in complete restriction and you feel like you're slaving yourself away, if you can find room to be present in that and learn to love yourself in those conditions, that will start to free you from those conditions. It may take some time, but it will start that process. And if you can learn to love yourself without needing the money and without the money in general, that is the perfect foundation for money to feel safe with you. Remember, we use the analogy of a relationship. If I need you to love me and I need you in my life, doesn't that make you feel a little bit like, ugh, like I don't know if that feels good. Something feels a little unhealthy about that. But if I was like, hey, I love you, I appreciate you, but I'm not attached to you and I want you to do exactly what you need to do. So I'm going to just let go and I'm going to be me. And if you resonate with me, then I'm here, right? It's a very different energy and it creates a sense of, okay. And that's that foundation of, what money feels safe in. And then the worthiness factor is what really pulls it in to levels that are beyond what you need for just your basic needs. So these are the foundations that you want to really understand and you want to really look at as you're on this journey and you're on this path of financial freedom. Because you're on the path, I guarantee you, as the listener of this video, you are so close to financial freedom. Even if it's a year from today, 2 years, 3 years from today, that is so close. And I know on a personal level, I'm speaking from my own personal life too. I know what it's like to be a slave to money. I know what it's like to not be myself to make money. I know what it's like to be attached to money. I know what it's like to use money as an unhealthy coping mechanism. I know what all of that feels like. And I also know what it feels like to allow money to come to me and to be in the resonance of money and to trust my process and to trust who I am and allow that to naturally kind of show me the path and the steps to take through my intuition and my instincts to then get to a point where money's not even a problem. Okay? So you're on that path. So keep honoring it. Keep trusting you. And hopefully this video could offer you a little bit of extra insight. All right. If you're looking for a community of like-minded people that are doing this deeper work, healing trauma, regulating the nervous system, working with the inner child, aligned manifestations, first link below. Okay. Second link is where you can book one-on-one calls or mentorships. And I would be honored to connect with you in this deeper way. Third link is the Patreon. I have an entire trauma course from start to finish on everything you need to know about creating this foundation to do this deeper work. There are hundreds of people going through it. If it's something you're interested in, here's your opportunity. Tier number 3 of the Patreon is a nervous system healing ritual that is happening on the 29th of this month. If you're someone that's serious about your inner work and you want to participate in this remote energy transfer that helps to regulate your nervous system by releasing trapped trauma in your body, this is also your opportunity. And now is the time to sign up for this month. We have about 180 active members, including myself, that are doing this on a monthly basis, and I would be honored to be a part of it with you. Okay, we're going to wrap it up here. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day or night, wherever you are, and I will see you in the next video. Later.